Kayl Frayre is a trans-masculine, non-binary Chicanics playwright focusing on the people like themselves that you don't see often in mainstream media. Staples of their writing include invisible and mental illnesses, dark humor, rebel women, anger, and queers. They have 2 BAs in theater and political science and are on the track to graduate with an MFA in creative writing. They also spend a lot of time hand-making obscene jewelry, which I just bought earlier, and practicing martial arts. Kayl.
I have a lot of content, but I think it'll still be not running too late.
No. Well, I will scream to you.
It's like right at my temple. It's like a gun.
Do you want it lower?
No, it's fine. Do you want it lower?
No. I don't.
I'm a people pleaser.
We could also just like tilt it too if you want. Yeah.
Aim to please. Alright. So I'm going to read a couple of my small poems. These are typically what I write when I write poetry. In one of my classes, pretty much everything I brought in every single week, people described as tongue-in-cheek. So these are 2 poems from a collection of mine called 10 Totally Normal Human Thoughts. Number 2. I do not get invited to weddings. I'm just not the type. I'm not that important, and I don't get the hype. I don't hit the dance floor, I don't have the moves. I only eat cake, and I drink all the booze. And number 7. I will not beg for your consumption, but I accept Amazon gift cards. This is called Blasé Poem. To everything in life, I am so blasé. I wish the wind was stronger today. I could almost love the way it makes me sway. Tumble head over feet like a sheep down the street. Maybe break my neck, but it'd be okay. 'Cause that'd be the day you could all say, I finally found something that swept me away. I don't know if anybody could tell, but from the bio and from knowing me, I deal with mental illness. I have anxiety and depression that spawns from bipolar disorder. So I wrote a lot of these poems in the heart of my depression. So those first 2 actually ended up being really funny for being in a place of darkness.
Depression's hilarious.
I know, it's really fun. I can get out of bed and there's plates everywhere. So this is another one that's a little more dark. Bedroom. I don't remember what it's like to be clean. I mean fully clean. Really clean. There's always something. Don't know how to dress, don't know who to be. I remember footsteps of company. I remember what it's like to be warm. I remember you and your laughter, your soft sighs. Where were you all this time? I remember the notion of clean, the suggestion of clean, and all the ways you can fake it. Where are you at this time? It's feeling empty in this clutter. It remembers you, and it walks around me, stalks like mean and evil, but quietly. Irredeemably, I am a shelter. Irredeemably, I am a cage. But you novelty, are a trap. And since I am a trans poet, I brought trans poetry. This is gender number 1. I want to drizzle. I want to drip into this place I don't belong. And with a great humming sound, I will rumble, tumble between the cracks, and meld with something on another level. I will achieve a balance never yet known before. In the deconstruction of myself, I will find new meaning for a word I never learned. Gender number 2. There are no whispers here, like the silky wind across your brow, but a dull, suspended tone, like the buzzing in sore muscles. And you learn to grow in twisted ways, functional dysfunction, like weeds in sidewalk cracks, and pray you don't get plucked. And this is a poem I wrote about NBC Hannibal. Pastelitos. Do you hunger? Because I hunger. Do you ache? Because I ache. I want to dress you, little sweet thing, in the colors of my skin, and give you the rarest gift, to see what lies within. I will fold you in upon myself. You will rise beneath my heat. I want to take you in my mouth and savor you, a tender meat. I will be the death of you. You will never see me in black. We have come together to the edge from which there is no turning back. I've never known a more dangerous thing than what believers call a sin. But I've always been the serpent, not the one who's given in. Do you hunger? Because I hunger. Do you ache? Because I ache. I will wait for when you're ready. My design is yours to take. I'm gonna do one more, it's a really long poem. It's gonna embarrass the shit out of me, because it's all a bunch of sound and I'm gonna make weird sounds with my mouth. R, r, ra, r, or, a, ooh, ooze, orphe, ooze, I, was, ak, a, g, ng, was, ki, king, n, th, la, ng, we, j, off, sto, nz, we, were, walking, n, the language of stones. Walking, we were walking in the language of stones. I had I was walking with Orpheus. I had a dream. I was walking. I had a dream. I was walking. I had a dream. I was walking with Orpheus. 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 Orpheus! Orpheus, I had a dream we were walking in the language of stones. That was my super long piece called A Great Humming Noise that I wrote. That's the part that I'll link back to playwriting. I wrote that after Sarah Ruhl's Eurydice, which is a great play. Oh, I still have plenty of minutes. Cool. I have 2 more poems that are long, so I think that'll be cool. This one, I never got to read in front of people. It won one of those Browning Society things, and I didn't get to go to the event where there's like old ladies in hats. I don't know.
And old men with strong English accents.
No, that's amazing. Do they have like little monocles?
Yes.
That's great.
In a perfect world, they would.
Oh my god. Curly mustaches. So yeah, this one is super cheesy. This like makes me think of how, because I wrote this in like the first semester that I was here, and I didn't know anything about poetry. I had just like not written poetry before taking classes here. And this reminds me of all the times that I was writing about vampires and werewolves in high school. Sins of the flesh. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Forgive my haste. I must speak like the wind. I beg you to help. I came to confess the thing that has put me in so much distress. I was walking one night, straight to disaster. A girl in the street, nothing new. I walked past her. But just as I'd gotten not a whole block away, a scream and a strike and the sound of a fray. So I turned back around, but I could see nothing. It was dark. It was quiet. I stood there blushing with the cold on my cheeks and the thought in my head, that sound of pure horror, the girl must be dead. Curious was I could not leave it be. I walked back that way. I just had to see. A foolish mistake, though a noble intent, to follow a crime and see where it went. There in the moonlight, a splash of blood. I hit the ground with a dull, hard thud. A grip on my shoulder, knives grazing my flesh, a tearing of skin like the tearing of mesh. Though I was left alive, I was never the same, and I couldn't understand my assailant's aim. Then, a few days ago, on that same stretch of street, I saw that same girl and my heart skipped a beat. Now I'm sure that you know when the devil's at work, the dead are alive where the shadows lurk. That night I was taken by the devil's hand down a path of desire to a promised land. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I look in the mirror and, Father, I grinned. My teeth were sharp and my eyes were alight. I ran on all fours on that full moon night. And the problem is, Father, I fear I enjoyed falling into that madness consumed by the void. Perhaps nothing can save me. I've lost all my wit when I look at myself, and I'm glad I was bit. I ask you, Father, as shepherd of your flock, what do you do when the wolf comes to talk? And one more poem. I made this one also as part of my depression poems. But I was fascinated by a creature. So I wrote a poem about a creature. The Lint Worm. I saw the lint worm sleeping at the foot of my bed. I saw the lint worm creeping, slow as the living dead. He slept inside my lungs at night. He followed me by day. It didn't matter where I'd go, he'd find me anyway. It started with a missing sock, a sock I never found. More and more went missing. The lint worm was around. At first I couldn't see him, but I knew that he was there. I could always feel his presence on my clothes and in my hair. The lint worm likes to take and take until there's nothing left. He preys upon the helpless folk, the lonely and bereft. It's best to stop a lint worm before he even starts. Don't let him get a hold of things, for they become his parts. Beware when things go missing. You'll never get them back. Beware of all your weaknesses. He loves the things you lack. So if you find a lint worm, you better find some friends. For those who remain lonesome, the lint worm never ends. It's hard to kill a lint worm, especially when it's fed. The longer it's been eating, the longer till it's dead. But friends can help you pick apart the stitches he has sewn. Don't listen to the lies he tells. You have to hold your own. To pick apart the lint worm, you have to find the strings, the little strands of color from all your stolen things. Once the lint worm's dwindled down to the seed he started with, you have a choice of what to do with the writhing captured myth. Bear him captive as a warning to ward away his kin, or crush him with no mercy, make a trophy of his skin. Either way, you'll show the world that you will not succumb, for you survived the terror of that wicked lint worm scum.